welcome to Turn the Page, the official podcast of the Syosset Public Library.
Hi, everybody. This is Evelyn Hershkowitz, Reader Services Librarian at the Turn the Page podcast, and I'm here today with a debut novelist, MJ Wassmer. He is a debut novelist, so I'm just going to tell you a little bit about him, and then we'll get on to talk about his new book, 0 Stars Do Not Recommend, which is a great title.
Thanks.
He's an author of speculative fiction who grew up in the suburbs of Memphis, Tennessee. He's worked as a UPS package handler, professional treadmill cleaner, steakhouse busboy, and Spider-Man for children's birthday parties. Following 10 years in corporate, MJ left to start his own business while focusing on his true passion, writing silly things. 0 Stars Do Not Recommend is his debut novel. So thank you, MJ, for being with us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. I've been listening to Turn the Page ever since you slid into my DMs. I was like,
Yes.
Yeah, I gotta check out this podcast. I probably listened to like a dozen episodes. It's a great podcast.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that.
And I go through and I look for your name in the episode descriptions. I'm like, I got to get an Evelyn interview in here because I haven't heard from her.
Yeah, exactly. I reached out to you. I don't know if I saw the cover of the book or I just read about the book and I'm like, this sounds so interesting. I got to speak to this guy. So I did. I slid into your DMs and you answered. And then I got in touch with your publicist and here we are.
Here we are. I'm so happy.
So the book comes out on August 6th.
Yeah.
So why don't you tell I don't want to tell anybody because I can't help myself. I might tell too much. So I don't want to give anything away because this is the type of book you don't want to know what's going to happen. You want to read it and you want all the twists and turns and surprises and everything else that happens. So tell everybody what this wonderful book is about.
Okay, we'll try to keep it as spoiler-free as possible. So 0 Stars Do Not Recommend is White Lotus meets Lord of the Flies, right? Mm-hmm. It's about this couple who is vacationing in the Bahamas when the sun mysteriously explodes, right? And now they're stuck on this island, and their all-inclusive resort quickly devolves into a survivor's camp where resources are rationed. And to make matters worse, the elite guests at the luxurious building A, well, they stage a coup, commandeer all these supplies, and they invoke martial law on the island. And our characters think they might know a way to get off the island, but they're kind of faced with this decision, right? Which is, do we stay and help the people on the island who are suffering, or do we tuck tail and head back to the mainland? And I guess we'll let the readers find out what they choose.
Please, readers, find out. It's really quite good. What led you to write this? Has this been something that's been brewing for a while?
Yeah, turning 30 was my apocalypse, right? Like Dan, the main character in this book, I spent my 20s in corporate dead-end jobs, cubicle surfing, and I was too scared or lazy, I don't know, to really explore my passion, which was writing. Because in your 20s, you think you have all the time in the world. But then I was turning 30 or on the brink of turning 30. And I looked in the mirror one day and I was already bald. And I had gray in my beard and my knees make that Velcro sound when I stand up. And I was like, I'm old and I haven't accomplished anything professionally yet that I'm super proud of. And 0 Stars Do Not Recommend was kind of my way of working through those feelings. I thought taking a character, an underachieving main character, and placing him in a scenario where he's literally out of time would be kind of a cool canvas to explore things like inherent worth and restlessness and toxic masculinity.
You did a great job, let me tell you. It really
thanks, Evelyn.
It was really fun. It was a fun read. Scary at times, but a fun read. Did you have to do any research? Did you go to the Bahamas and stay at any of the inclusive resorts to see how they run?
I don't know if I'm supposed to say this. We went to the Bahamas. My wife and I love to go to these all-inclusive resorts when we can get away. And I'm sure that obviously that inspired these books, but when I didn't go thinking I was doing research. But then I was talking to my tax guy this year. He was like, have you taken any all-inclusive vacations over the past year? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, that's a tax write-off.
Oh my gosh.
That's research. I was like, okay, I didn't know that's how it worked. So I hope the government doesn't come after me. But yeah, lots of so research not only on like how resorts work and how they're laid out. I think we had a lifetime of knowledge there, but then also the plausibility of a star in your galaxy in your universe actually going out, and that was kind of interesting getting into the science behind that. And obviously, there's a lot of implications that were kind of fun to play with.
Yeah, absolutely fun. Now, most authors don't like to read their reviews.
Mm.
Have you been on Goodreads lately?
Evelyn, I'd love to be one of these authors that was like, no, I don't check that stuff.
You're right.
I do get on there. I get on there more often than I should. I shouldn't do it because I don't know that it helps me in any way. I will say people have been very kind so far.
Right.
Like
Well, that's what I'm going to tell you. You have an unbelievable rating on Goodreads.
the reviews have been great. People have been very
I don't know
kind.
if you just have a ton of friends.
I can assure you I don't have a ton of friends.
Well, everybody who's read it before it even came out, they're giving it, you're at a 4.2 out of 5,
Well,
which is spectacular.
I will say Sourcebooks, my publisher, has been great about getting the book into people's hands early through NetGalley. I'm sure you know it, NetGalley.
Right, of course.
I think there's over 200 reviews on NetGalley as well. So like they've been very liberal about approving people to review the book, which has been great. So much early feedback, which has been a blessing and a curse, because the thing is you read these reviews and if you get, a dozen 5-star reviews in a day and then you get 1 3-star review, like I'm thinking about the 3-star review.
Oh, no. Don't think
like,
about the
it's I wish I didn't have to, but it's this weird, I don't know, it's this weird hang up that I don't think is unique to me. So I should stop reading them. I know.
Yeah. No, keep reading them because you're getting great reviews. And the funny thing is I do library journal. That's my journal that I read, that I pick what we should buy. So your book got a starred review in Library Journal. So let me just read what it says. A life or death action-packed debut, a romp and a page-turner. Wassmer's debut novel succeeds in being the opposite of its title. He might become a new favorite for fans of John Scalzi and David Wong. Library Journal starred review, which is amazing. I mean,
So nice.
I had already slipped into your DMs by this point. So when I saw that, I knew I was already interviewing you. And I was like, wow, this is great for a debut novelist to get a starred review. And then another author who I've interviewed in the past, Alison Wynne Scotch, she said, fabulously original and relentlessly clever. 0 stars, do not recommend, is one of the best debuts I've read in ages. I loved every single thing about it.
She's been so great. We've chatted over Instagram. I haven't had the pleasure of meeting her in person yet, but I look forward to it. She has been so nice. Not just the beautiful blurb she wrote, but she's just been giving me advice. We've been chatting back and forth about my debut year. I really look up to her.
That's great. Are you going to be going on a tour? A book tour for the book?
So yeah, kind of a mini tour right now, and it's still developing. We have my launch on August 6th. That's when the book comes out here in Memphis at this great independent bookstore we have called Novel. Then I have a few other appearances in locations around the area. And then in the fall and the winter, several festivals that I'll be making appearances at. You can find the latest on my website, but we're still trying to nail down all the dates.
That's wonderful. Is it your full-time job now, writing, or are you still working on other jobs?
I am still working. Would love to get to a point where I could write full-time. That would be great. But for right now, still working.
Okay. I also love the cover of the book.
Oh, yeah, me too. Mallory Heyer, who is a artist, I think out of Minneapolis, she did the cover and she did just such a wonderful job. And I remember when they were starting to think about the cover, they asked me like, what are you thinking? And I had zero idea. Like I was like, I don't know. Yeah, I don't think, my brain doesn't think visually like that. But when I saw the first few sketches that Mallory put together, I was blown away. And it only got better from there. Yeah,
no, it's a great cover. Really great cover. And it kind of gives a little bit of a rom-com feel as opposed to an apocalyptic feel.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and I think that was done on purpose, right? Like, I think Sourcebooks, they wanted to reach out and they wanted a broad readership, right? And obviously rom-coms are super hot right now, and why shouldn't they? They're so much fun. And that is one thing. You asked me if I read reviews. One thing I keep seeing in the reviews that makes me happy is a lot of readers being like, this is outside my normal genre. But
100% for me. 100% outside my normal genre.
That's
but it was so interesting. It really, really was.
Oh, that's so nice, Evelyn. Thank you.
Yeah, it was outside my genre, but you know what? Sometimes you got to do that. But I think it's the cover that drew me in.
Was it? Okay.
I think so. I mean, what the book was about also drew me in, but
Sure.
I think the cover really drew me in too. And it was
Yeah.
just so interesting. It really was. It was a great story. A lot of stuff going on, that's for sure.
Yeah, I got so lucky with that cover. And I don't know, I'll send you a picture of the UK cover after
Oh,
this.
okay. Oh, that's great. It's published in the UK too.
It
Wow.
is, yeah, it's just as good. Actually, here, yeah, I can show you. It's right next to me. So it's
Oh,
kind of
very
a
nice.
similar thing, but Mara's
Right.
on the front as well as
Yeah.
Dan.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Where's Mara's not on the front on this one? It's just Dan.
yeah, we went back and forth on
All
that.
by him, his lonesome. Well,
Well,
there is some romance. I mean, there's a romance in there.
yeah,
So
no,
there is. I mean, it's not totally.
yeah, I think at the core, I think it's a love story, right?
Mhm.
I mean, it's obviously about Dan working through some of the feelings he's got going on. It's about inherent worth, but it's also really about a partner saying to another partner that I love you the way you are,
Mhm.
and you're perfect the way you are. And if you never get another job or, nothing ever changes, I'm happy because you're my best friend and you're you. And these are conversations, that's inspired a lot by stuff my wife and I have done. And
Mhm.
so, having a strong relationship at the core of this novel is really important to me. And
Right.
yeah, there's some romance built in as well.
You know, it's so funny. On chapter 2, the
Mhm.
first date was Chili's or TG Fridays. He always got them confused. My first date with my husband was a blind date, and it was at TGI Fridays.
My first date with my wife was at Chili.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
That's so. And also another question: are you being sponsored by Tommy Bahama?
No, I'm not, although I'm open to it. Uh, yeah, there's a
You
there's a
made
few.
quite a few references to Tommy Bahama.
Tommy Bahama gets some love. Annie Ann's pretzels get,
Uh-huh, right,
get some love
right.
several times throughout the book. And hey, Evelyn slid into my DM, so you guys can too. Like, I'm not
Yeah,
a
no, because I buy my husband Tommy Bahama twice a year,
do you?
Father's Day and Hanukkah. So twice a year I buy him something from Tommy Bahama. So when I saw that, I was like, wow, we have a lot in common, obviously.
Obviously so.
And you know, another thing, where do you think this book should be on the shelf? Is it fiction or is it science fiction?
I think a gun to my head, I would say fiction,
Hmm.
right? I think the sci-fi, it's very grounded sci-fi. It's like a light sprinkle of sci-fi,
Okay.
but I have also seen it categorized as science fiction. I've seen it categorized in a lot of different ways, Evelyn. So it's which I kind of like it's kind of a mashup of a lot of different genres, which I think is cool. But yeah, I think mostly I would put this in the fiction section.
Okay. I'm sure that's where it'll end up on our shelves.
Okay.
Now, is Lord of the Flies and like Brave New World some of your favorite books?
Lord of the Flies was big for me growing
Hmm.
up. Like love Lord of the Flies. I actually reread it recently. So yeah, that was a huge inspiration. And then also, there's a lot of apocalyptic stories that are kind of baked into this as well. Like, obviously The Road by Cormac McCarthy. That's a much different book, much darker tone, right? But that there's some of that built in. And then, I do gravitate towards apocalyptic end of the world stories that are a little lighter,
Hmm.
or maybe on the zanier side of the scale, like, This Is the End or Shaun of the Dead, these stories that kind of shine light on how absurd humans can be,
Right.
right? Like we're all very weird, and you can just imagine how much weirder we would get in a apocalyptic scenario.
Well,
So I,
you
I
read the book, you certainly see how crazy people get.
I think so. Like, if writing is shining a light on the human condition, I prefer to like have fun and keep it a little light while we're doing it.
Mhm. Yeah, no, it's not a heavy book.
That's good to hear you say. Because
Yeah,
some people
I
have been
didn't
like, "Oh,
find
I
it.
thought this was a comedy, but there's some heavy stuff in here." It's like,
Yeah, no, it wasn't like super heavy, and I wouldn't exactly say it's super dark either. I wouldn't go there. It was zany is the right word. You're absolutely right. That's a good word for it,
we'll take
zany.
zany. Okay.
And people are loving the title.
The title, yeah, we're really proud of the title. It wasn't the original title. That came to me late one night. It was like 2 a.m. The original title was no good, but I just, it was a placeholder title. And yeah, it was just like one of those lightning strikes where I was like, oh man, that works on so many different levels.
Right.
I went downstairs and I think I woke up my wife and I was like, 0 stars, do not recommend. And she was like, uh-huh. I just like rolled back over, went to sleep. But to me, like that kept me up all night. I was buzzing about that title. So yeah, I'm glad people have responded well to it. That means a lot.
Right, because I was just coming down here to interview you, and one of the people I work with, a few of them actually. I said, "Yeah, I'm going to interview the author of Zero Stars. Do not recommend." They're like, "You didn't like the book?" I'm like, "No, that's the name of the title." I will recommend it. I will definitely recommend it. It will
Thank you.
be in print on our shelf, and it'll be on overdrive for all of our listeners. So
Oh,
you'll be able
wonderful.
to get it in both of those spots. So
That's
I
wonderful.
listened to the audio. Have you listened to the audio at all?
No, you listened to the audio?
I did.
I haven't heard the audio yet.
I did. I did listen to the audio. I believe I got it. Let me see. Where did I have it from?
Did you listen to the UK version of the audio or
Oh,
because the UK, it's actually out in the UK already. It came out a
oh,
few
it
weeks.
is. When did it come out there?
July 4th,
Oh,
actually.
wow.
Yeah. Turns
Okay.
out that's not a holiday for them.
No, it's definitely not a holiday for them. That's when we got our independence.
Right.
I don't think they like that day so
Oh, they
much.
don't like
So
that.
they may have forgotten by now because they've been around a lot longer than we have.
Oh, I don't think they're over it, Evelyn.
No, you don't think so?
Oh, I don't think so.
Are you working on anything else?
Yeah, I have I was lucky enough to get a 2-book contract both in the US and the UK.
Oh my
So
gosh,
I
that's so wonderful. Congratulations.
thank you. I owe the publishers another book and I'm working on it. It is, I think I kind of want to play in this comedy apocalyptic space for just a little bit longer. Maybe something that exists in the same universe as this book, but isn't a sequel. Like I kind of want to leave these characters alone.
Okay.
So yeah, I've got a kind of a few things I'm noodling on and about to get started in earnest pretty soon.
That's wonderful. When do you write? Are you one that wakes up super early?
Yeah, when I'm really cooking, I like to write in the mornings before
Mm-hmm.
my brain has rotted. And I try to do like 1,000 words a day. There's some authors who do double that and more, which I'm so impressed by. But if I hit 1,000 words in a day, I feel pretty good.
That's wonderful. And you always wanted to be an author? This is something that you've written other things?
I knew in like 6th grade-ish that I wanted to write professionally. I didn't know what that meant. I don't think I fully appreciated like novels until like early high school. I read Lonesome Dove in early high school, and I was like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
I want to write novels because I just didn't realize how cinematic they could be up until that point. But yeah, in 6th grade, I literally remember the exact moment, Evelyn, when I knew I wanted to write. We had this science fair, and I'm terrible in science, and my project left a lot to be desired. I essentially just microwaved a potato, but we also had to write this like 8-page science paper. And I didn't take it very seriously, which is a problem I have. I was, I made jokes about microwaves and about friction and the loneliness of microwave dinners. And like, but that was kind of how I approached the subject of how microwaves work. And I got like a C on the project, which is totally
Mm-hmm.
fair. But I remember I watched my teacher reading that science paper behind her desk with another teacher, and they were laughing.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, like this is what I want to do. Like this is what I'm passionate about. If I can make people feel that way, then that's it for me. So that's kind of what set me off in this direction.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you did.
Oh, thanks, Evelyn.
And I really like your setup behind you, all those books that you have.
Thank you. I probably need to organize them. This stack right here, that is mostly 2024 debuts.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there were so many amazing debut authors this year, and we kind of have a little community Slack channel which has been so helpful over the past year because it turns out we're all feeling like the same thing. Like
Mm-hmm.
we've all had tummy aches for the past 6 months.
Can you
And
recommend any of them?
let's see, what's okay. I read recently The Mayor of Maxwell Street.
Okay.
That's by Avery Cunningham. She's actually another Memphian. Her book, I believe, came out either late January or early February.
Mm.
What did I just finish? A YA book called Wish You Weren't Here by Aaron Baldwin.
Uh-huh.
That's another great book. It's outside my genre, but I loved it. It's about this teenage girl who goes to the summer camp, and it's just full of so much heart and so much humor. And I'm currently reading Girls Who Burn, which is another YA book by M.K. Pagano, which is kind of a murder mystery. I'm only like 10 chapters in, but I'm loving it.
And they're all debut authors.
All debut authors.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's
There's so
wonderful.
many amazing debuts, though. I couldn't list them all.
I know. I love reading debut authors. I really do.
Yeah, me too.
I love discovering the authors before they've made it big.
Yeah,
I
no,
I
it's
really
been a
enjoy
great
it.
community and so supportive.
Yeah, that's great. That's really great. So did you write this during the pandemic?
I call it a pandemic book, but that's maybe cheating a little bit. I think I started it in December of 2019, so before things really kicked off.
Okay.
But the meat of it was written during the pandemic, and that's certainly informed a lot of the class commentary, I think, in the book, because COVID certainly exacerbated and shined a light on the inequalities in the country and in the world. So I thought that was kind of an interesting thing to explore, like who really benefits when the world is burning. So that was something I kind of wanted to bake in, with the 3 different buildings and class levels on the island.
Right. Yeah, no. Wonderful. Are you a planner, or do you fly by the seat of your pants?
Fly by the seat of my pants, which I probably need to work on. That was one thing that we ran into with book 2 with these publishers. They obviously, want to plan. Like, what are you gonna write about? And I was like, can I just give you like a couple sentences? And they're like, we need maybe something a little more concrete than that, which is totally fair. So yeah, I'm getting a little better, but I'm not one of these authors that can outline every chapter. I'm very impressed by those who can, who are so organized. But I think I need a little bit of freedom for my characters and my plot to surprise me a bit. That's kind of what keeps me motivated.
Absolutely. I get that 100%.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think it was wonderful speaking with you.
Thank you.
And I
Evelyn.
wish you
Likewise.
all the luck in the world. I will certainly be putting this book in our patrons' hands.
That means so much. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm glad I was able to slide into your DM, and I'm glad that we were able to get this time to chat. I wish you the best. I really do. Good luck with everything.
Thank you. Slide into my DMs anytime. I'm going to slide into your library sometime. Next time I'm on Long Island, I'd love to check.
Have you been here? Do you know Long Island?
I don't. We're up in that area. We have a lot of friends up there and family in like New Jersey, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
I'm in the city. We have friends in the city a lot.
Oh, okay. We're not far. We're like a 40-minute train ride on the LIRR.
Okay.
Not too far.
Yeah, I'm gonna be in the city in October, I think, and maybe we grab some time. I'll swing by and I'll say hi.
That would be wonderful.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for speaking with us tonight.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Okay, have a great day and good luck with everything.
Okay, thanks, Evelyn.
I'm going to close this chapter of Turn the Page. Thank you so much, MJ.
It's time to close this chapter of Turn the Page. Join us for the next episode.